Could this brand new AI-focused altcoin, which is very low on everyone's radar at the moment, could it be the one to provide the most returns if we see another AI crypto boom in the future? And even though this project is AI focused, it is being compared to Bitcoin because it leverages a lot of similar characteristics, including a similar tokenomic structure. But is it an investable opportunity, or is it one to avoid? After the launch of ChatGPT in 2022, AI has pretty much become part of everyday life for many. Therefore, I've been on the lookout for AI-focused crypto projects that might provide some exposure to this, let's be honest, fascinating industry. And there is a project that sits potentially at the perfect crossroads of AI and crypto. And that project is called Bittensor. So the question I want to answer is, can Bittensor provide one of the best opportunities within the crypto AI space? To evaluate this extremely young project, I've been through Bittensor's latest white paper, its website, its history, its tokenomics and price analysis to save you potentially hours of your time in your decision on whether or not to place investment capital into this project. All that I ask is you hit the like button down below and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the deep dive. And with that, let's dive into the fascinating world of Bittensor. So what is the mission of Bittensor? From what I've read in the website and its white paper, Bittensor has one fundamental aim, and that is to decentralize artificial intelligence and machine learning. Now, there are two key sides to artificial intelligence as far as I understand it. You've got the side that's focused on developing AI models, and then you have the side that is focused on leveraging those AI models for services and products. However, the industry of building and developing and then utilizing these AI models is dominated by a few large players, the usual names: Meta, Microsoft, Google. They are all tech giants that have teams and teams of people dedicated to just AI. They also all use and leverage their own data centers, and this provides an inherent problem. For anyone else looking to develop or utilize AI, you need to go through a centralized provider, which means there is a single point of failure, and it results in costs going sky high. For example, apparently to train ChatGPT-3, every single training run cost $12 million. So Bittensor was created to provide a solution. It offers a peer-to-peer marketplace that rewards the contribution of machine intelligence. Now, we'll get into how this works in just a few minutes, but the idea and hope of the project is that this collaborative AI-focused peer-to-peer marketplace, this economy, will drive the adoption and utilization of AI even further than it's already come. Right, so that hopefully is a simple introduction to what is clearly a really complex project and also topic. But now let's discuss how Bittensor actually works. And to do that, we need to dive into Bittensor's underlying technology. As we've previously mentioned, Bittensor takes a lot of inspiration from Bitcoin. In the Bitcoin network, miners contribute computing power to solve a proof of work algorithm. The miner that gets the answer first is therefore eligible to add the next block to the blockchain and therefore collect BTC rewards. However, all the computational power from the thousands of nodes that didn't get to the answer first is just completely lost. It takes a very similar incentive and decentralization framework to Bitcoin, but it is using it to build and incentivize a marketplace where all of the computational work from miners goes towards machine learning. Each miner in the network is contributing intelligence or power to the network, and then the consensus mechanism in Bittensor then decides which miners are providing the most useful intelligence depending on the task at hand. The usefulness of that intelligence is then proportional to the rewards received. So, getting into the details of how Bittensor operates, Bittensor's infrastructure is composed of both miners and validators. Its blockchain was developed using Polkadot's Substrate software development kit, so it's leveraging the Polkadot ecosystem, and it's this blockchain that acts like an on-chain oracle, a network of validators. And it is the validator's job to connect and orchestrate all of the off-chain miners. And it's the miners that are either contributing data or computational power to help run those AI models. So there are multiple AI models all being contributed to by a network of miners that are then connected and organized by blockchain-based validators. And then incentivization for the whole of this rests on the shoulders of the TAO token, the associated cryptocurrency of Bittensor. And this is the cryptocurrency that we are trying to find out whether or not it will be a good investment in the future. Now, this is clearly a very complex idea, and it was an idea that was first founded in 2019. So it is a relatively young project. It was founded by two guys, Ala Shabana and Jacob Steves. Now, through other reports I've read, they were looking for a way to make AI compoundable, and that they realized incentivization through crypto might be a way for them to achieve that. From what I've seen on LinkedIn, the two appear to have a software engineering / development background, but other than that, there's not a massive amount of experience with building and developing startups, a risk that I'll come to later. We know that the idea is certainly solving what appears to be a big future problem. We know that the narrative of AI is going to be huge in the future. We now know how Bittensor works, but what about the tokenomics of the associated crypto? As we've just discussed, the associated coin of Bittensor is known as TAO, T-A-O, and the price of TAO currently at the moment of filming is $50.70. The market cap of the coin, according to CoinMarketCap, is 209 million, which places it in the microcap range. Now, although the current market cap is in the microcap range, its fully diluted market cap stands at just over $1 billion. Now, why is that? Well, it's because only 20% of all TAO coins have been released into circulation, a potential risk that we will come to discuss in the next section. But before that, what about utility? What is the TAO token actually used for that could drive its demand? Well, while on the one hand, we have TAO entering circulation through validator and miner rewards, that's how new TAO is entered into circulation, the demand side will be driven by those wishing to leverage Bittensor's compoundable AI network to run and test those AI models. So if interest builds in leveraging decentralized AI machine learning models, which some reports are suggesting will happen in the future, demand for the TAO token should grow. Another key aspect to consider here is that the team behind Bittensor has decided to opt for a very similar tokenomic structure to Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin, the maximum supply of TAO is capped at 21 million. Now, a lot of people point to this as an advantage, but it means nothing without considering the larger picture. In addition to the capping of supply at 21 million, the level of TAO rewards is also set to halve every 4 years. And while this is encouraging, we know that it worked for Bitcoin, there are other aspects we need to take into account, like the inflation rate. And this leads me into the risks involved with investing in TAO and Bittensor. The first risk is that the inflation rate between now and the first halving, which is set to take place in September of 2025, is 93%. While it's programmed to reduce after every 4-year halving event, just like Bitcoin, Bitcoin's inflation rate, to be fair, was well over 100% in the early days. We still need to consider that the circulating supply has the potential to almost double by 2025. Now, demand and hype for the TAO token might be enough to offset that, but let's face it, 93% inflation over 2 years is high if demand isn't there. And then we should loop back around to the team. It's a relatively unknown team in the realm of cryptocurrencies, and while that doesn't mean the project won't work, as the team doesn't have a great level of experience running startups, it should definitely be considered as one of the higher risk plays. And finally, everything is fairly unproven when it comes to Bittensor and TAO, which is always a huge risk. Nothing has stood the test of time here, but that is why it presents a high risk and potentially high reward play. You are taking on the high risk that this project might come to nothing. So what are my overall thoughts on Bittensor and TAO? Should this be a cryptocurrency that you have in the investment watchlist pile, or should it be one to avoid? I can definitely see a future where cheaper on-demand access to decentralized artificial intelligence is a requirement. Therefore, I really like what the project is trying to accomplish. And I do believe it will very likely do well if there is another resurgence of AI in the news at any point. It's also one of the best projects that I've seen that has a direct link to AI. A lot of the others out there merely have a loose connection. But, and this is a big but, it is definitely one of the riskier AI plays, which is why if you do invest, I would only recommend putting a small percentage of your capital into this one. It should definitely be grouped in the highest risk of degen plays. When you compare it to a project like Fetch.ai that will likely do equally as well if there is an AI boom, the market cap of Fetch.ai is actually lower and the number of coins in circulation is way higher. In no way, shape or form is any of this financial advice. You of course need to do your own research in every crypto you invest in, but I hope you have enjoyed this breakdown and deep dive into Bittensor and TAO. If you have enjoyed the video and you want more detailed insights on all things crypto, I would love to have you as a subscriber on my 80/20 crypto newsletter that is sent out on a weekly basis. The vision with the newsletter is to provide as much crypto investing value per word as possible and onboard the next 1 million users into this amazing industry. It would be amazing if you could join us on that journey, and I'll leave a link to the newsletter down below. As always, don't put more money into a cryptocurrency project than you can afford to lose. Crypto is not a get-rich-quick scheme and should be considered amongst a variety of other assets. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.